Jazakumullah khairan. Inshallah, we'll take 10 to 15 minutes of questions. Are you okay to repeat the questions?
Sure.
So that the sisters can hear them as well, inshallah.
Hey,
so go ahead, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. MashaAllah, slow down. I can't handle all this. I suppose the Q&A is over. Fadal Ustad.
With regards to Fitnah in modern times.
Yes, sir.
When you've consulted with learned people, are there any hacks or tips or suggestions that you feel that we are exposed to in the modern times that we maybe overlook, and some people, maybe not everyone, should consider stuff like smartphones, internet, things like this? Just suggestions around that, perhaps.
Yeah, that requires a lecture on its own. I think I have a lecture on YouTube. I usually don't advertise my channel, but I've learned that I should start doing that, because whenever people come to the lecture, I just assume, because I'm naive, that people know. Oh, like this guy, yeah, I've seen him on YouTube before. But then I realize some people are like, who's this guy Aslan? Where did he come from? You pick him up from the street. So, or some people know, like they've seen me and they thought I was milkshake or something. So it's only fair that I mention that my channel is called One Way to Paradise. One Way to Paradise. So please, if you want, I don't make any money from you. And subscribe to the channel for your own good. There are a lot of lectures and classes. There's one lecture titled Modern Traps of Shaitan, where I've elaborated on all of these extensively. I believe if I elaborate now, it will take up a lot more time. So maybe it's a chance for them to check the lecture. But Jazakallah khair, it's a good question. Jazakallah khair. Yes, brother. Alaikum salam.
How we can support Palestine and Gaza the correct way, the Quran, as Muslims in the West.
Yes, akhi. Wallahi, I don't know if you were with us. You were not with us, obviously, yesterday in Newcastle. I don't even know where I was. But we actually spoke about this extensively. Now, I know this is a very sensitive topic. I know people are very emotional about it, but I don't care. I don't care because the truth deserves to be said. The truth hurts. Truth, when somebody rubs it in your face. People that are looking for hacks, let me take the hack from you and put it over there if you don't mind, for the Palestinian issue, are unaware of life, unaware of history, unaware of politics, and most importantly, unaware of the Quran and the Sunnah. We were just mentioning yesterday the condition of the Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with them, how they were persecuted. Al Yasir, Bilal, radiallahu anhu, they would put rocks on his back and they would torture him. The Sahaba first could have protested in front of Mecca, in front of the Kaaba. Free us. Let us be, leave us alone. No. Not from Allah. Not from the way of the Messenger of Allah. Number one. Number two, is Allah ala kulli shayin qadir? Is Allah qawiyyun aziz? Could Allah have aided the Prophet ﷺ from day one? Did he migrate from Mecca to Medina in spite of how much he loved Mecca, left it crying and went to Medina? And before that they made an attempt to Al-Habasha in Abyssinia, which also failed, and had to come back. Wasn't it 13 years of calling people to La ilaha illallah? No fighting, no retaliation, because there was some groundwork, there was some infrastructure that needed to be put together and built before we understand وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. Allah will aid the one who aids his religion. Before we understand, إِنِ النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Victory comes from no one but Allah, not from the people you beg. You run to them, say, free Palestine, free Palestine. You think these people are sitting at home waiting for you to cry, you or me and everybody else? No, Allah. They have an agenda, they have a plan, very well studied, Allahu A'lam, maybe from how many years? It's all playing out. They're not waiting for our begging. And I personally refuse to beg any disbeliever for anything. If I want to free Palestine, I want Allah to give us the victory when we become worthy of it. If we were worthy of it, wallahi, it would come. It's been 70 years, brother. And before Palestine and along with Palestine, you have how many countries? Anywhere you go in the world, the Muslims are target. The Muslims are in the European world, they ban the hijab. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. In other parts of the world, they try to, bomb us, kill us, whatever, genocide, you name it. We are the target, we are the enemies of the world. The whole world never agrees on anything except against Muslims. True or false? Who's gonna aid us? Them? Allah. Allah's gonna aid us. So if we really want to, there could be many things that you could do. You say, Akhi, I'm not gonna drink Starbucks anymore. Jazakallahu khairan. And that country, what are they doing? Yalla, yalla, bring all your armies and go over there and get rid of these people. And which world are you living in? You want World War III? You want an atomic bomb to nuke all of us? The world and politics do not work this way. And Allah will not ask you why you didn't move armies when you're not the ruler and the person in charge. Allah will ask them. We know Allah will ask them. If Allah will ask them, why are you involving yourself and speaking and slandering and cursing and demonizing and takfiring and passing takfir on the people? Allah will ask you about all these things Yawm al-Qiyamah, and you're not qualified. None of us, I'm not speaking of you, brother, I'm talking to all of us. Wallahi, we're not qualified to be speaking on these matters. These matters they have a lot of layers, so many different layers that we don't even understand. So if you really want the solution is in the hadith. In the beginning of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said about us that when we start chasing the tails of the cows and we abandon fighting in the cause of Allah, because that's the last of the priorities right now. We don't even have the basics to get into the fighting phase unless a person is defending himself in his home country. When we do all of these things, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Sallat Allahu alaykum dhullan." Allah will place upon you, will afflict you with humiliation. La yanzi'uhu. Allah Himself will not remove it. حَتَّى تَرْجِعُوا إِلَى دِينِكُمْ, until you go back to your religion. This is the pill that many people can't swallow. Why? Because your emotions, watching these videos of Muslims being slaughtered and killed and eradicated and they're bombed, I understand. It's painful to watch. You shouldn't watch in the first place, aslan. Because it weakens us and it makes us feel that we are helpless and we are in a bad state. It's not healthy to see. If you want to see what's going on, fine, you know what's going on. But to watch this as a hobby, every day you watch how many Muslims were killed and what's happening to them, it's going to mess with you. It's going to mess with your psyche. It's going to affect you in a negative way. So because of how emotional we are about this situation, the people don't want this until you go back to your religion. They want somehow to fix it right now. They want a quick fix. Quick fix. Akhi, make all these countries just come together and put the armies and come and get rid of the Zionist state and the Muslims will be free. It does not work this way. Even if you dreamt about it and imagined it all you want, it is not how it's going to happen. Therefore, being realistic, let us focus on what is it that I can do. What Allah will ask me about. Allah will ask me about myself and my family, my community, my society. When we Muslims, hadith says, حَتَّى تَرْجِعُوا إِلَى دِينِكُمْ, when we go back to our religion, wallahi, the victory will come on its own. It will come on its own. There's no way around it. This will happen. You want it today? You want it today right now because you're hurt that you're seeing the Muslims going through this? The Muslims have been suffering for hundreds of years. Why is it that this case of Palestine became a big issue more than it should be? Is it because of Masjid al-Aqsa? The Kaaba is more important than Masjid al-Aqsa. And the blood of a Muslim is more important than the Kaaba. The blood of one Muslim is more valuable in the sight of Allah than the Kaaba. And today we say, Adi, normal, let a million Muslim die, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, no problem. And for the cause of the land, for the freedom of the land. This is not Islam, ya Jama'at al-Khair. Wallahi, that's not Islam. That's not even fighting for the cause of Allah. That's fighting for the cause of the land. These are so many misconceptions that all of them are conflated in the minds of so many, because they hear from hundreds of people. Everybody weighs in without referring the matters to the scholars. Those are the matters for the senior scholars to speak about, and our job as people involved in da'wah to communicate them to the people in the language they understand. Because Allah told us to refer to the people of knowledge. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said about them, لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. Those among them will be able to extract this information. Do not be hasty, and do not think that the victory will come by you demonizing every person out there. You want the victory to come, you invest into your own children. If you wanted one to be a doctor, one to be an engineer, one to be an architect, let one of them be a sheikh. Let one of them be a student of knowledge. Let one of them be a scholar. So that we could all bring the people back to Islam. When the Muslims are strong again, then we are worthy of Allah's victory. Like the Sahaba. When they were strong, they became worthy of the victory of Allah. Then Allah allowed them Azza wa Jal to retaliate. In the beginning, even the Sahaba were not allowed, even though Allah could easily defeat all the disbelievers with the Malaika without even the involvement of human beings. Right now, Allah can get rid of any entity that is hurting the Muslims. But Allah Azza wa Jal has told us how it works. We have a problem with the deen of Allah. We have a problem with the wisdom of Allah. Wallahi, we have a problem with ourselves. Wallahi, we are the problem. And that is the beginning of the problem. That the people are not willing to submit to the deen of Allah, and they insist, they want to use their intellect and emotions to reject clear evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah based on simply being upset. You being upset is not going to change a thing. So the real solution, brother, is we need to start building, and we need to start building properly. Maybe hundreds of years from now, our progeny that will come from grandchildren, maybe they will be the ones who will see this victory, but we will be the one who started it today. We don't have to get it today. It's been 70 years. I gave a lecture about Palestine, 3-4 years ago. Wallahi, if you listen to it now, it's as if it applies to the same thing that's happening now. Every few years we go through this. They go to the Masjid al-Aqsa and they do this and they kill the Muslims. It's been an ongoing cycle. They've tried everything under the sun to resolve the issue. It's not going to get resolved. The disbelievers are not going to give you the victory that you're begging for. Protesting in the street and telling the people to free Palestine and putting a profile picture of a DP of free Palestine is not going to do the job. If you want to do it because you want to show solidarity and Jazakallah khair, I'm not going to pick on you. But to think that this is, I've done my job. No Starbucks, profile picture, al-alam al-Falastini, or I wear something with the whatever they call it, the kufiya of theirs. Alhamdulillah, I've done my job as a Muslim. Habibi, you haven't even scratched the surface. You're leaving the big work and you're focusing on the little things that anybody can do. But Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Jazakallah khair. Tfaddal Habibi.
What's our position on a brother who says it's wajib or fard to protest in such a time?
Wajib?
Yes. A brother said that about 2 weeks ago.
We have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's used the hadith of speaking out via lisani, doing actions and stopping it via your limbs, and acting out and stopping the whole thing. So he's used that as an evidence to say that we can protest.
Let's tell him, okay, fine, we'll go along with this hypothesis of yours. So what exactly has any protest anywhere in the world changed? What has changed on the ground as we speak right now? What has changed on the ground because of any given protest for the Muslims? That's the first question. They will struggle to give you an answer. Let's say, we say, the scholars say, anything that the Prophet ﷺ could have done, it was available to him to do, and he did not do, and the Sahaba, the Sunnah is that you don't do it. Were they able to do anything of this nature back then? Yes. Did they use this as means of bringing about change? No. Therefore, we don't do it. He will tell you, not necessarily. He will find some athar from someone that they moved, they marched someplace. He will come up with a story. I know this. I've seen those. طيب أخي أبشر. I'm going to hypothetically agree with you that just because the Sahaba didn't do it specifically like today because they don't have the same settings and the same theme and the same what have you, it's okay to do it. Tell him if they were zero munkarat, zero violations and evils of Islam, then it's subject to ijtihad. Okay, me will sit with the scholars, tell him, Ya Shaykh, tara, with this we can get 1, 2, 3. Can anyone on earth deny that there are at least 5 to 6 evils associated with marching and protest that there's no way you could eliminate or escape? At least 5. That there's no escape from them. And each one of them in the sight of Allah, as Allah says, they consider it to be saghir, small, and with Allah Azza wa Jal it is a big deal. Everybody says, oh, it's not a big deal, we're just free mixing, brother. It's okay, I'm just rubbing shoulders with the sister because they're of a greater cause. The sister showing herself with a sign. I was in another country when one of these protests were taking place, you know, so I experienced it firsthand. And I was a traveler, so when Salah time came, I had prayed Maghrib and Isha in the masjid. And then during Isha, I was sitting with some brothers, like we're sitting right now having a discussion. Actually, they were discussing the same issue with me. They didn't like me very much. Well, they liked me, but they had issues with my opinions. No problem. So when Isha came in, these brothers went to pray in the masjid. I already, like we did with the Shaykh, I'm a traveler, I prayed my Isha. I said, I will watch your stuff. You leave your stuff here, go pray, Jazakumullah khair, and come back. I'll watch your stuff. While these brothers were praying, the protests were going on. Where were the men? These brothers, wallahi, they're standing in front of the masjid, and during salah time, they're standing over there. Free Palestine, harruru Palestine. The masjid is here. You heard the adhan. You heard the adhan without loudspeakers. It's an obligation on you to attend the salah. In his mind, in their mind, them screaming to nobody. Like, I'm really curious, who are they speaking to? Like, who are they? When we go on the street, we say, help! Who are you speaking to? A president of a country sitting there sipping coffee with one leg over the other. Oh wow, it's a lot of Muslims. Wow, impressive. All right, change the plan. Khalas, let them go. Yalla, free Palestine. Wallah, I wasn't gonna do it, but because of you guys, big turnout, mashallah. 10,000 people marched. Abshir, khalas, yalla, we changed the plans. Where are you living at? You really think this is how it works? Oh, you know, we did this. You're really not doing anything. Mixing between men and women. Somebody has to sing, especially if you're with Lebanese people. Somebody has to sing and dance and turn it into a party, like a mini party in the middle of the march or the protest. Salawat are being missed. Somebody vandalizes. Very rarely is it a peaceful protest. Roads are being blocked. Ya akhi, you can kill a fellow Muslim who wants to go to the hospital or his wife is about to deliver. You've blocked 5, 6, 7, 8 roads, or because the government allows it. So we go block the entire streets. Inshallah, the guy dies. Inshallah, his wife delivers on the street. It doesn't matter because we're doing this. Everybody looks at these. These are not important, brother. It's okay. We could sacrifice. She could deliver the child on the pavement, and a person can die before he makes it to the hospital, and you could be late to work and get fired. Adi, because this protest is going to free Palestine. Really, Habibi? Because last I checked, mashallah, we've walked the whole world. Turn on the news right now, you will see a bomb being dropped on our Palestinian brothers and sisters. What do the people want? All this is an excuse for our shortcomings. This is an excuse because I can't do the big things. I want to do a little thing so that I could feel that I've done my part towards the Palestinians. Wallahi, that's not how we help them. We help them by returning to our deen, all of us. And this whole thing that people claim that when we say the speech, you say, brother, fear Allah, you're blaming the Palestinians. No. I'm not blaming the Palestinians. I'm blaming me. And I'm blaming you. And you. And you. I'm blaming all the Muslims. All of us failed collectively. And they are suffering as a result of our collective failure. And just because they're all going through this hardship, it doesn't mean that we are in a better condition than they are. Maybe one of them will die as a shaheed and will go straight to Jannah, while you and I will be held accountable for just, not doing our part. It doesn't mean that they are in a worse condition than we are. They could be in a better condition than we are in the sense. It's sad, but at least they're shaheed, they're martyrs, they're going straight to Allah. What are you and I gonna do? We have a problem, my friend. Those are the realities that the people don't want to be realistic about. But alhamdulillah, your job is to deliver the message. If he accepts it, alhamdulillah. If he doesn't accept it, خلاص. It's between him and Allah. تفضل أستاذي.
Surely, while we are bringing the deen to where we should be, we're all making ourselves better in our job. It's also about enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. So when we see something that is not right, we should be speaking out and saying, this is not right.
Yes.
We don't need to wait till everything is fine and then Allah will do it for us. We still need to do something to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Doing this, okay, the Palestinian issue has been going on for 75, 80 years, right? But as you can see now, because of the Ummah is more educated, more, into the deen and that, right? It has started changing. They do understand, right? And some of the governments that previously ignored it completely have changed their stance, right? So it should work and it will work, right? And I understand your
And I understand yours. I'm not.
but you can't just say to people, just
Don't do anything.
do nothing.
That's not what I said.
Resolve it.
But معلش, I understand. I relate to what you're saying. Maybe I didn't word it properly. Please don't understand from my speech that I'm telling you don't do anything and just sit there and memorize Quran and teach your children Islam and then just go have a good night's sleep. That is not what I'm saying. There are things that can be done, but the things that can be done should be done by the people in authority. Allah gave each person a position. Let's say, brother, you're a politician in the parliament, in the government, and you have a voice. You as a Muslim, you're expected to use your authority and your position in the favor of our Palestinian brothers. Each one within his area. Each one within his area, as long as that which they're doing is also halal. I'm criticizing the engagement in unlawful things while leaving alone the bigger obligation. That's all. If anyone else is able to contribute in a way that is in line with the teachings of Islam and is going to cause a change, then Bismillah, let him go ahead. But we don't want to mix up the priorities. The issue is with the mix-up in priorities, where the priorities, the things that were supposed to be done are rarely done, and little things that anyone can do have become our main goal and objective. So we lost the plot and we lost the focus on on the more important things. You clear? Jazakallah khair. Last question? Last question. The brother in the very back. You, brother, yes.
Yeah, I agree with you in regards to said about boycotting Starbucks or protesting to the UK government doesn't achieve anything. You're right, because the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a genocide massacre is none of them, rather jihad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Surah Baqarah, fight those who fight you, drive them out from the land where they're doing it. Of course, it requires capability and ability, which belongs to those whose authority, who have the means. But the question, my question in regards to those who do have the ability, capability, unfortunately, they're dancing with Shakira in Riyadh, or they're normalizing ties and strengthening the Zionists. So my question is regard to Abrahamic Accord and these rulers, who are agents, who are normalizing and strengthening Israel. My question is regards to the agent dogs who are saying that we should obey these rulers and not even speak up against them. So the Fitnah, the title of the talk, it would be good for you to address these agents and the loyal dogs who tell us not to speak up against these agents.
All right. Well, that's a little over the top. That's okay. They're agents. If you presume them, if you want to consider them to be agents, I understand. Dogs is a little too much, ya akhi. Actually, this is a very dangerous thing to say. Because the people that are telling you to obey the rulers are telling you to obey the rulers based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And if we say that someone who obeys the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is becoming a dog, then this is tantamount to disbelief. Nobody in his right mind is going to agree with any of the munkarat that is happening as a Muslim. Yet, in spite of those munkarat, we have over 100 narrations from the Prophet ﷺ commanding us to listen and obey the ruler in the Muslim country. So you won't think I'm speaking about whoever's in charge here. I don't even know who's in charge here. Brother, let me ask you a question. We spoke about this yesterday. Do you know about the Sahabi who used to frequently be brought to the Prophet ﷺ for drinking alcohol and being drunk? Have you heard of this hadith? Does everybody know the hadith, or anyone know the hadith of a Sahabi who used to often get drunk and be brought to Prophet ﷺ, and punishment will be done against him, he will be lashed. And the Sahaba became impatient with him and they verbally abused him. And the Prophet ﷺ prevented them and did not allow them to do so. And he said, verily, I know nothing of him except that he loves Allah and His Messenger. Please understand, this is a Sahabi who had witnessed the revelation of the ayah, فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ. After Allah spoke about the khamr wal maisir being from the works of the shaitan, a Sahabi who knows that consuming alcohol is haram. He's getting drunk and he's being brought in front of the Prophet ﷺ and the other Sahaba on multiple occasions, falling back into the same sin as I was speaking earlier. And yet, he was not considered to be a disbeliever. Do you consider him to be a disbeliever?
I don't understand how that link to...
I'm telling you how that link.
Well, how is that linked to them shooting
I'm gonna answer you, brother. Look, brother, you're not gonna. My beloved brother, Jazakallah khair, brother. I'm trying to give you the link, but right now you just want to outsmart me with just screaming. Please, let's have a civilized conversation. We have a lot of people here. I'm not here to have beef with anybody, but you need to hear me out. You didn't answer my question because you got cornered. Answer my question. Do you know of the hadith?
I'm the first one who asked you a question, so it's best for you to answer.
So you don't want to answer. Do you think he's a kafir? Was this Sahabi a kafir? The Sahabi who was drinking alcohol. Did he leave Islam?
I've already said to you, I don't know about the narration.
Now that you know about the narration, do you believe by him drinking alcohol multiple times, knowing it's haram, is he a Muslim or a non-Muslim? Why are you afraid of answering? Are you doubtful that the Sahabi...
I'm asking you, how's that linked to the question?
And to answer the question, and I will give you a beautiful link, you can click on it every day. Answer the question.
Like I said, I don't know the narration.
Now you know the narration. Is he a Muslim or a non-Muslim?
I don't know. You tell me.
He's a Muslim. Dancing with Shakira takes you outside of Islam? Answer, brother. Now you don't know the hadith. Today, one of the brothers said, not you. One of them said, I'm going to X country to dance with Shakira. You say, welcome to Christianity, John. Do you take him outside the folds of Islam or do you treat him as a Muslim, brother?
You missed my question.
No, wallahi, everybody knows I didn't miss your question. Habibi. Brother, wallahi, you're digging your own hole. I'm not changing the topic.
My question is very specific. I'm not asking you I'm asking you, how do we justify backing ruling?
I'm getting there.
Israel? You talk about boycotting.
I'm getting there, but you don't want me to get there.
Economic ties and the shooting down missiles, protecting the Zionist.
Brother, I memorized your speech. Sheikh. Yes, I'm asking you a question. I've memorized your speech and you're repeating your speech with a louder voice. It is not going to work. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. If you want, in front of everybody, to get an answer, you need to be patient with me. You asking me a question, consider me crazy. Okay? I'm a crazy man and you came to a crazy man's lecture. This crazy man wants to take you on a ride. You want to get off? Khalas, you can get off the ride. No point in having a conversation. You want to get on the ride? It's on my terms. I want to ask you questions because I want the answer to come from you. You know you're going to get trapped in the corner, so now you're just weaseling your way out. In front of everybody, I'm calling you out.
Not really.
Right? Ya akhi, answer my question. If he went to Shakira, does he become a disbeliever?
That's not even a question.
I don't care about your question. I know your question. I'm giving you a question. Answer the question.
I'm just asking a question. That's what you're here for.
Brother, I know. I have an answer. Wallahi, I have my answer.
That's fine.
But still, he knows. Habibi, he doesn't need anyone to explain. عادي عادي, I can entertain his brother all day.
I can't reply back to you. Inshallah, we can meet after this.
I doubt we're going to meet after this, brother. I don't mind. But I'm sure that there will be some security concerns at this point. Brother Habibi, the people in charge, I'm gonna cut through the chase just to make you happy. Because you're a brother of mine, I love you for the sake of Allah. In spite of these differences, I'm still going to entertain your method of thinking and ignore mine. Because I was gonna get you there. The bottom line is, what the people in charge are doing is not kufr. That in and of itself is not kufr. The Prophet ﷺ described the people in charge that will come at the end of time. He said, جِسْمَانُهُمْ جِسْمَانُ إِنس. Their bodies will be the bodies of humans. وَقُلُوبُهُمْ قُلُوبُ الشَّيَاطِينَ. And their hearts will be like the hearts of the devils. لَا يَسْتَنُّونَ بِسُنَّتِي. They will not follow my sunnah. وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ بِهَدْيِ. And they will not follow my guidance. In the same hadith, they said, what do we do? He said, you listen and you obey. Even if he strikes your back and take your money. Even if he strikes your back, flogs your back and take your money. So as long as the ruler is a Muslim, and if you want to reach a point where you also pass wholesale takfir against the rulers, then we are exactly like Dhul Khuwaisira, who thought the Prophet ﷺ himself was not just. The same method of thinking, this ultra-righteousness that Dhul Khuwaisira came, Ya Muhammad, i'dil, فَإِنَّكَ لَمْ تَعْدِل. He thought the Prophet ﷺ was not just enough. From him came the people that killed Uthman, who thought Uthman was not worthy of being a Khalifa. Uthman was not worthy of being a Khalifa. And they killed Ali, and they killed the Sahaba in the hundreds, and they humiliated them. And the Sahaba, and their prayer was better than the prayer of the Sahaba. Their Siyam was, appeared to be better than the Siyam of the Sahaba, but those were the dogs of the fire. If anybody deserves that title, it is the Khawarij. Those who pass takfir on the Muslims for committing a major sin. Dancing with Shakira is not kufr, ya akhi. Is not kufr. There's still a haram, and there's Mecca and Medina, and people are being served. Is it Jannatullah fi ardihi? Is it paradise on earth? La wallah, it's not. And it's never been, and it will never be. Only Mecca and Medina will be preserved from the Dajjal. The rest of the world is subject to fitan. Us whining and screaming about it and getting upset is not going to change anything. I'll tell you what will happen though. We can make attempts like they attempted in the Arab Spring. And you saw where that took. They got rid of the people in charge. Who came instead? Who came instead? Where's Syria? And where's Libya? And where are all these countries where they overthrew the person in charge and brought another person which was worse than the one before? Could be. Or some of them wished that they had a ruler even if he was the most corrupt ruler, because without a ruler, the country is devastated. So all that happened, brother, is people died. Muslims died. We became weaker. The disbelievers took advantage of our weakness, divided us, dissected us, took our resources, took our petrol, took our cotton, took everything, while we are still bickering and trying to get rid of the ruler. So the only problem in the world is the ruler. Everything we're doing, no, ma fi mushkila. Drugs are everywhere, womanizing, all this, adi. But the ruler doing it, a'udhu billah. The problem is only with him. But what about with me and you and everybody else? Why are we shifting the blame on them? And let's say that you blame them. Let's say you go on public, criticize the ruler and say whatever you want to say about him. Is he, by Allah, do you also think, like I said, he's sitting there waiting for you to speak? To do the inkar al-munkar? You forbade the evil. You think he's going to take advice from you, brother? Like this? La wallah. And you're not allowed. Aslan. The Prophet ﷺ already told us, if you have a nasiha for the person in charge, take him on the side. Take him on the side, tell him. If he accepts, then it's that. If he rejects, you have done your part. As for publicly speaking about them, it will not change anything, but guess what it will do? It will make the situation worse. Because they're not going to be silent, they're going to retaliate. If there's da'wah going on, it might stop. If there's khair going on, it might stop. You will actually make the situation worse for the Muslims. They will crack down on those rebels, and at the end of the day, you didn't achieve a thing, they are still in charge. Even if the ruler was a disbeliever like the ruler of Syria, and they thought they had the power to remove him, he's sitting right now drinking Turkish coffee while the Muslims died in the millions in Syria, and the rest of them are all over the world begging the world to accept them. Nobody wants to accept them. May Allah make it easy for the Syrian brothers and sisters. And that was I don't know of any scholar who doesn't declare him to be a disbeliever. But ya akhi, you don't have the means. We don't have the means, you be patient. Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf did worse than that to the ulama and to the scholars. They still didn't revolt against him. Ahl Sunnah. And they were still patient. Why? This is a matter of the deen. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of wisdom, a lot of discipline, a lot of submission to the textual evidence for a person to override his own ego and say sami'na wa ata'na. Once a person believes he is beyond that and better than that, then he is opening the door of the Khawarij, and because of the Khawarij, the Muslims have been suffering from then until today. ISIS killed more Muslims than non-Muslims by 100-fold. It's the same mentality, brother. So be careful, barakallah feek. Jazakallah khair. That was interesting. Spice it up a little bit like the...
Jazakumullah khairan. Akhuna Abu Mussab, may Allah bless you on your mizan hasanat yawm al-qiyamah. Our brothers, we're going to call it a day there. I want to thank everybody for coming. There is tea available in the foyer. We have to leave pretty sharpish. So please respect that and make room for us, inshallah. We hope to host our brother again in the future, bi'idhnillah, if he gets his visa. And inshallah, we will see you again soon. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.